Hi, welcome to this support video that's part of the Parent and Carer programme supporting youth anxiety. My name is Warren Matofsky and I'm one of the CAMHS psychologists.
And I'm Ruth Sequeira from the East Sussex Primary Mental Health Work team.
This video will last probably under 10 minutes. If you're finding it kind of heavy going, an invitation to pause the video at any time, get yourself a cup of tea and then come back and watch the rest of the video.
So in this video, we're going to talk about anxiety and how anxiety affects both us as parents, carers, and our child. Anxiety is something that we'll all be familiar with from our lives and can have a really strong effect on our experience, how we feel, things that go on in our body, kind of thoughts that go on for us. So we'll be looking at that a little bit more.
Yeah, so what is anxiety? As Ruth was kind of suggesting there, it's a universal experience. Anxiety is a system that alerts us to danger. And some anxiety is necessary for everyone's survival. If you're walking down a pavement and about to cross a road and out of the corner of your eye, you spot a car speeding along, you will feel that sense of potential danger. And that's really helpful. It stops us getting knocked over. So anxiety, everybody has it. It's a really helpful system that alerts us to danger. In anxiety problems, these arise when a child experiences high anxiety to things or situations that don't pose a real and present danger and then starts to avoid them. Often anxiety is about things that are going to happen in the future that are triggered internally. So there's not an immediate danger, although the experience of that is really horrible. And these triggers can be worries, repeated thoughts of danger, internal sensations, assumptions about a situation, or signals that are misinterpreted. So, for example, if a child has had kind of lots of panic attacks in the past, when there's a slight change in their heart rate or their breathing pattern, which happens to us all at various points during the day, that could be interpreted as, oh my goodness, I'm about to have a panic attack, not, I've just jumped up out of a seat, so my heart or my breath has shifted accordingly.
So, what is anxiety made up of? So, as I was saying earlier, the experience of anxiety is made up of all these different parts. So, anxiety includes some thoughts that will generally be focused on danger, potential danger. Really strong feelings will come up, and along with that, some really strong physical sensations, which we'll go on to talk about in a minute. And that will kind of cause us to behave in a certain way or have an impulse to behave in a certain way.
So yeah, as Ruth was saying, there's these four key aspects of anxiety. Yeah, as you're watching this video, you might want to think about when your child is experiencing anxiety problems, what are their physical sensations? What feelings might they be having? What thoughts might be going through their minds? And what might they be doing? And what might we be doing as their parents and carers that love them and want to help them? So have a bit of a think about that. And we'll talk more about that in the Zoom sessions when we meet up.
So here you can see a kind of range of experiences that will kind of make up the physical sensations that someone might experience when they're feeling anxious. So yeah, you can really see that it affects kind of lots of different parts of the body. And for some people, some of these symptoms might be stronger than others. So things like that really uncomfortable feeling of your heart really racing, feeling breathless, that kind of horrible, sicky, nauseous feeling, shaky legs, feeling very hot or cold, kind of mind racing or sometimes mind going quite blank. Really strong effects in the body that's all created by these sort of hormones rushing into the body when we're experiencing something as a threat.
And these physical sensations are generate intense discomfort and feelings of danger. They've been hardwired into our bodies over tens of thousands of years of evolution. And it's a sign that there's something fundamentally wrong with our body or with the world. And these sensations are impossible to bear. And they're trying to drive us towards some action. And what happens over time is that the child might become increasingly sensitive to these sensations and experience them as a sign of serious danger. So any changes in, breathing patterns might be experienced not as, oh, I've just exerted myself, but oh my gosh, something is terribly wrong. I've got to do something.
So, when anxiety becomes a problem, there's this combination of fear around either something that's happening or something that's anticipated to happen, and then this avoidance. Yeah, quite often the fear is what feels the strongest, is experienced as the strongest, and can feel quite paralyzing. But it's actually the second part of avoidance that really creates the problem with anxiety, because the more that the young person avoids the situation that's making them anxious, the higher the fear tends to go, and the less is this experience of being able to cope and the confidence in your ability to cope. So this can become part of a difficult cycle that we're going to go and look at in a moment.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget that when someone has experienced an anxiety, it's really horrible, but it's not dangerous to them. The impact for them happens when they start to avoid things because of the fear they're going to experience anxiety. And that is this kind of avoidant behavior, how people cope with these intense feelings. So when young people are feeling kind of highly anxious and they have an anxiety problem, what they do is driven by this urgent need to limit anxiety. And they'll be trying to avoid these horrible sensations, thoughts or feelings or situations that generate them. And often this can be expressed through refusal or aggression. They want you to do something to make this go away. And if you're not going along with it because you want them to get on with something that's important that they get on with, they can become aggressive and kind of quite angry because they feel under threat. And what happens is if they avoid the situation or someone helps them avoid the situation or the thought, that will very briefly lower their level of discomfort, but over time increases the likelihood that they're going to feel anxious when that situation comes up again. And then they have less experience of coping. So this leads to kind of this avoidance trap. So there might be a trigger that sets off them feeling threatened. They would have those anxious thoughts, feelings, and sensations. And as a result, the child will act to stop those feelings or thoughts, or will seek help from someone else to enable them to avoid those feelings, thoughts, or situations. That will create this temporary relief, but then give them the belief that they can't cope. And then the trigger will be experienced really threatening again.
So anxiety can really kind of get involved in this relationship between you as the parent and carer and your young person. So it really starts to affect kind of everyone's behaviour within the family. And yeah, anxiety, it's about threat, and will kind of create this real impulse to avoid the threat. So anxiety isn't interested in the kind of parent that you want to be and your values and how you want to bring up your child. It's just interested in trying to help the young person stay away from what feels like it's threatening.
So we know that when our children and young people in our families have anxiety problems, it has a very big impact on parents and carers. First of all, they feel they have to do something to stop the distress immediately. This is triggered by our bonds of love to our child. And often parents and carers feel they have to give in to the anxiety, do something to make the anxiety go away, or they're going to have a big row. And often parents and carers can say they feel more distant from their child, or they can feel ashamed of their child's difficulties and begin to blame themselves. And we also know that parents and carers can feel really isolated. That's why we're really keen to bring parents and carers together in a group so they can feel understood, listened to, and meet with people that have similar kinds of experiences.
So yeah, some kind of points for reflection, and these are things that we'll be looking at in the live sessions as well. So yeah, how do you respond to your child's anxiety? And there might be different responses that come out for you at different times. Do you feel you should accept your child's fears, or should you be trying to convince the child not to be afraid? And how does anxiety change the way that you respond to your child? And is this different from the kind of parent you want to be?
And yeah, that's one of the things we'll come back to, this idea of the kind of parent you would prefer to be, and to use some of those ideas to help you kind of set goals for the program. So that brings us to the end of this support video. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.